eating. Okay. So our topic for today, we have two major topics. So our first one would be feeding horses. Okay. Although we have already discussed some of the aspects or concepts regarding equine nutrition. Okay. So as stated last time, so in the natural state of your horse, okay, so they would eat in this posture. Okay, so their head is lowered and their neck is extended. Okay, they are grazers and they would graze for long hours. Okay, to keep their digestive system working correctly. And the grazing time is broken up into about 15 to 20 grazing periods. Okay, that's about 16 to 17 hours a day. And as you've seen in our dentition lecture, they have their incisors. So those are specifically designed for cutting grasses. Okay. And this act of chewing grasses would have the benefit of saliva production. Okay. So around 10 gallons of saliva is produced, okay, because of the long hours of grazing, and that buffers the stomach acid. Okay? So pumupunta yung saliva, okay, into the stomach to buffer the stomach acid, preventing gastric ulcer. Okay? Horses cannot vomit, okay, because of a very strong sphincter here. And another one is that acid production in the stomach is continuous. Okay, so that means, okay, they have to graze, okay, to prevent this acid from causing your ulcers. Okay, so what else do you need to know? As mentioned last time, okay, horses are hind gut fermenters. Okay, so this would be the hind gut. Okay, it's composed of your large colon, the cecum, and the small colon. Okay, so the site of digestion of forage or grasses would be the hind gut. It acts similarly to the rumen in ruminants. Okay, so in the hind gut, you can also find there the microbes or the bacterial organisms that would produce the volatile fatty acids. Okay, so the VFAs, okay, are the major source of energy for horses. Okay, so this is produced by the microbes through fermentation of the grasses. The microbes that are located here in the hindgut, okay, also produce the vitamins B and vitamin K. Vitamin B and vitamin K, okay, as well as proteins. Okay, that's why in a healthy horse, they don't really need supplementation of vitamin B complex unless they are pregnant, old, they have an underlying disease, okay? Or in other words, if they are sick and cannot produce their own B complex, okay? So that's the time when you would want to supplement them with vitamin B as well as vitamin K. The preparation of vitamin K is usually added with ADE, so ADE and K, or sometimes vitamins ADE lang siya, okay? But your vitamin B or dog, okay, is actually obtained from sunlight, okay? As long as your horse, okay, is exposed, okay, to sunlight, they are grazing out in the pasture or they have their turnout time, okay, the time wherein they can go out, they would receive adequate sunlight and have an adequate supply of vitamin B. For vitamin A and vitamin E, okay, so they can acquire this from eating fresh grasses. Okay, so during winter in other countries wherein horses don't have access to fresh grasses, okay, they are just confined and provided with hay, they should be supplemented with vitamin A and vitamin E, okay, because they cannot get this from their diet. Okay? So yung mga ganung questions, okay? So those are also asked in the board exam, okay? So during winter, which of the following vitamins would be needed for your horses? Okay? So A and vitamin E. For the small colon, this is also the part, okay, of the GIT that absorbs water. Okay? That's why in horses, their feces is in the form of fecal balls. Okay? So yung mga non-digestible fiber, they are dehydrated in the small colon, resulting in the production of the fecal balls. Okay? So as you can see in this diagram, okay, so a huge portion would constitute, the hindgut constitutes a huge part of your GI tract. Okay, so 63%. The largest would be the large colon, and okay, 9% of the GIT, okay, is composed of your stomach. Okay, so very small stomach, they have to be fed several times a day. Okay, so you have to break down the meals, small amounts, several times a day. So as mentioned last time, ideally they would be fed 4 to 6 meals per day. Okay, but commonly 2 to 3 times or 2 to 3 meals a day, okay, is being performed. Okay, but para ideal siya 4 to 6. Okay, ang catch lang doon is additional workload for your caretakers. Now let's discuss the methods of feeding. Okay, so the first one, as you can see in this picture, okay, so their grass, okay, or hay is just placed on the ground. Okay, this is the first type, loose on the ground. Okay, so this allows for the natural feeding behavior of your horse. Okay, their neck is extended, their head is lowered on the ground. But what do you think is a disadvantage of this type or method of feeding? Anyone from the class? Yes, Jben.
They might eat their feces or their urine. They might
Okay.
ingest it.
They might ingest other things aside from your grass. Okay. So in cases of such as this one, okay, wherein the flooring is soil, okay, or it can be sand, they might have colic, okay, as we've mentioned last time. Okay, so sand colic would be abdominal pain secondary to ingesting the sand. Okay, so they would accidentally pick this up, okay, because of this method of feeding. What else? Ano pa kaya? Another disadvantage of this type of feeding or method of feeding. Present ba si Shemaya? Jane? Arlos? Francesca Balagtas?
Nasaan, Dok?
Ayun. May idea ba? Si Kai?
Hindi na po fresh yung grass.
Hindi na fresh yung grass? Hindi. Based sa picture na yan, ha? Pwede kasing fresh din na grass. Kunwari, bagong cut lang, tapos binigay na agad, pwede din naman. Ano pa kaya?
Mag-agawan sila.
Mag-aagawan sila? Pwede kung group of horses. Ano pa? Paano kaya kung mag-isa lang siya? And then ganyan yung method of feeding. Tawag ba tayo ng friend?
Baka di po enough yung grass na nabigay.
Hindi. Pwede din kasing adequate yung binigay na feed. Hindi ka based sa picture hindi based sa picture. Pero pag pinapakain mo yung horse, say for example, ilalagay mo lang sa lupa yung grass, ano kaya ang magiging problem?
Yun lang
Tawag ba tayo?
isip ko, Dok. Baka po yung soil hindi nila.
Ano yan?
Yung soil po,
Ayun.
din nila.
Ayun, nasabi na ni Jben.
Sabi na po.
Ano kaya?
Wala na po ako maisip, Dok.
Okay. Okay na yun. Ang dami mo lang nasabi din. Sino pang gusto mong tawagin?
Si Tolosa po.
Tolosa. Ira?
Yes, Doc.
Ano pa kaya ang pwedeng disadvantage nito?
Pwede po sila makakuha ng iba't ibang sakit po, Doc, since kumakain po sila directly on the ground.
Okay. Looking at a veterinary perspective, pwede silang makakain ng parasites. Okay. Thank you. Ira? Meron pa. Tawag ka, Ira.
Si Ditok, Doc.
Ditok. Kurt.
Good evening daw.
Good evening.
Ano yung question, Doc? Repeat.
Ano kayang disadvantage ng method of feeding na to? Aside sa pwede silang makakain ng soil.
Ano ba? Wala na ako maisip, Doc.
O sige, tawag tayo ng friend. Sino yung tatawagin, Kurt? Hello? Hello?
Hello, Doc. Hello?
Ayan. Sino?
Cordero, Doc.
Jane? Present ba si Jane? Parang hindi ko siya nakita.
Good afternoon, Doc. I'm with
Ayan.
Sarah Hen, Doc.
Okay.
bigger chances na magkakaroon po sila ng parasite since it's within the soil po.
Okay, thank you, Corinne. Pero na-mention na yun kanina.
Cordero to Doc, Jane Cordero to Doc.
Nakikigamit ka lang ba kay ano? Kay
Yes po,
Okay.
mahina data po.
Mahina ang data. Okay, so thank you. Inonote ko na lang na present. Sige, si Corinne daw. Baka may idea.
Ang opinion ko lang po, Doc, pwede po sila magkaroon ng injury, Doc, especially sa neck nila if masyadong lowered yung paglagay ng food.
Hindi. Actually, okay lang yung posture. Ganyan yung natural posture nila. So, hindi pwede. Ayun yung advantage nito. Si Yes, Ilian.
Hello, Doc. Am I audible?
Yes, audible.
Ako, probably po, Doc, ma-waste po yung hay. Like, ma-trample over po nila yung hay. Tapos, if basa po yung soil, magiging moldy po yung hay.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So, wasteful. Okay. Thank you, Ilian. So, they may not obtain all the feeds that you are giving. Okay. Sayang. Okay. So, yun yung hinahanap pa nating disadvantage. Okay. So, thank you, Ilian. So, for the other method of feeding, okay, we have this bucket on the ground. Okay. So, on this other method, okay, so hindi na nasasayang yung feed. Okay. It keeps the feed together and prevents wastage. Okay. So, take note, okay, the bucket has no handles. Okay. This would prevent your horses from getting their feet trapped. Okay. And if you have several horses in a paddock, you have to separate the buckets, okay, to prevent bullying. Okay. And also, okay, when their head is lowered like this, especially for horses with respiratory problems, this type of posture would allow the mucus to flow out. Okay. So that's the other advantage of this type of feeding. Okay. So ano lang kaya disadvantage nito? Okay, they can accidentally kick the bucket, okay, and waste the feed. Okay, so mataas pa din yung chance na matapon, okay, or spilling the contents. Okay, so this one, the trough, okay, so this prevents the spilling of the contents. Okay, kasi mas malapad na siya, okay, it does not easily topple over, or horses cannot easily knock this over, okay, and spill the feed and cause wastage. Okay, but for some troughs, okay, feeding in a trough, for some troughs, they are at a certain height, and in those cases, okay, the horse might not have its natural posture, okay, kapag masyado siyang mataas. So, ideally, the feeding bucket or trough, okay, should be lowered on the ground, okay, so that horses will still have their natural posture. Okay, so guidelines in feeding horses. If you would change the feeds, do it gradually, okay, so that would allow the GIP to adjust, okay, and another thing is that roughage must be the major portion of the horse's diet. I think we've mentioned this last time. Okay, so at least 1% of their body weight should be roughage. Okay, because excessive concentrates can lead to colic or abdominal pain. Okay, so other factors that might be considered, okay, should be the roughage to concentrate ratio. Okay, so when we say, tama ba na mention natin last time yung roughage versus concentrates?
Yes, Doc.
Ngayon, okay? So, here is the ratio, okay? So, it actually depends on the workload of your horses. Okay, nakalagay dyan, maintenance, light work, medium work, and then hard work. So, for maintenance, okay, meaning horses that are not working, okay? So, enough na yung roughage lang, okay? So, as you can see here in the first column, okay, maintenance, 100% grasses or roughage, okay? So, that's enough to maintain their normal weight. But horses with light work, okay, the second column, so around 20% should be concentrates. Okay, so anong ibig sabihin ng horses with light work? These are your horses used for trail riding, for pleasure riding, those horses that are still beginning their training. Okay, sila yung mga horses with light work. Medium work, okay, going back to the light work, around 1 to 3 hours of work per day. 1 to 3 hours. For the medium work, around 3 to 5 hours per week. Okay, an example of a medium work, okay, so they would need 30% concentrates, is a horse, okay, that is working on a cow ranch. Okay, so that's those horses would need supplementation of around 30% concentrates in their diet. And then for hardworking horses, okay, so these would be your race horses, competing horses, athletic horses. They can be supplemented of up to around 40% concentrates. Okay, so still a large portion of the diet is composed of roughage. Okay. So who can name the 6 essential nutrients? Anyone? +10 sa Revalida.
Protein, Doc.
Okay, Kurt, ano yun? Anim. Name the 6.
Macronutrients, micronutrients. Sa paman. Water.
Hmm. Wala na, time's up. Okay, next. Si J-Ben. J-Ben?
Yes, Doc.
Ano yun?
Carbohydrates,
Okay. Ano pa?
proteins,
Oh.
fats, waters, vitamins, and minerals.
Okay. Plus 10 sa Revalida. Okay, which is, kailan ang schedule ng Revalida? Next week na, di ba? Tama ba? Revalida na agad, parang kailan lang tayo holiday pala next week. So for your class, next week. Okay? So, as mentioned by J-Ben, okay, we have the 6 essential nutrients. What's the most important nutrient, J-Ben?
The carbohydrate.
Tama ba? Akay.
Water, Doc.
Water, Doc.
Okay? So that's the major component of the body. Okay? So up to 70 to 75% is water. Okay? So this would be the solvent for the other nutrients. Okay? It would allow the transport of the other nutrients. Okay? So you should provide clean and fresh drinking water. Okay? And for the proteins, okay? So we'll discuss later on saan nila nakukuha yung mga nutrients na yan. For protein, okay? So building blocks of the body, okay? Especially for growing horses. They need that for their muscle, tendon, and ligament development. Okay? An example would be soybean, okay? Is a source of protein. Carbohydrates, okay? This would be the grasses, the cereals, okay? Sources of energy. For the fats, okay? So this nutrient or part of the diet would be later on converted to carbohydrates. Minerals, okay? Yung mga salt licks, okay? So needed for bone development and metabolism in various tissues. And of course, you have your vitamins. Okay, so I believe these things, okay, were already discussed in your animal nutrition. For the maintenance stage, okay, so as mentioned earlier, okay, so this would be the requirements of the horse to maintain their current body weight, okay, so activity level and overall health. Okay, so key considerations, so they should have a dry matter intake of around 1.5 to 3% of their body weight. Okay, that's for the dry matter. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, most of the horses in the maintenance stage, okay, would be met, okay, by forage alone. Okay, they don't need concentrates. Okay, but you can still supplement them with concentrates. For the newborn foal, okay, what's important? Okay, colostrum. Okay, so they would need colostrum for passive immunity so that they can get antibodies from the mother. Okay, so ideally for the first few hours of birth, within the first 12 hours, they should have already acquired colostrum. Okay, so in a healthy newborn, they nurse at around 7 times per hour. Okay, so imagine that increased frequency of nursing. For bottle feeding, okay, so in cases that you want to provide commercially available milk replacers, okay, bottle feeding is, or colostrum rather, okay, you would bottle feed colostrum. It's around, or milk, okay, once every hour. Okay, so milk, okay, not colostrum, once per hour. Okay, so yun yung frequency of bottle feeding. Okay, so not necessarily yung 7 times per hour. Okay, but in the natural state, okay, nursing 7 times per hour. Okay, what if you have orphan foals? Okay, you can give milk replacers. Okay, for example, cow's milk. Okay, but it's actually not a perfect substitute for the mare's milk. Okay, but in cases of emergencies or you cannot yet find, okay, a good milk replacer, then cow's milk, okay, can be a temporary solution. Okay, so commercial milk replacers, okay, there are a lot of available commercial milk replacers. Okay, but your problem with all of this, okay, since they are not the mare's milk, okay, would be diarrhea. Okay, so sometimes you have to find, okay, the right milk replacer, okay, by checking or monitoring on the stool or fecal consistency. Okay, so ganun usually yung basis sa farm. And then for the creep feeding, okay, so this is a method of supplementing the diet by offering feeds. Okay, so your foals cannot rely forever on milk. Okay, so eventually they have to eat solid feeds. And this is one method of gradually introducing them to feeds. Okay, you have here a creep gate, okay, or it's like a fence. Okay, so you can prevent the entry of the adults, okay, or prevent the adults from eating the feeds that is meant for your foals. Okay, so take note, these foals are still nursing, okay, but you are providing the creep feeds, okay, via the creep feeders to gradually accustom them to solid feeds. Okay, so this also decreases the stress during the weaning period. And then after weaning, okay, you have the weanlings. Okay, so in this stage, okay, they would need mineral supplementation, okay, particularly calcium and phosphorus. Okay, so these would be your young horses that have been recently weaned from their mothers. And then for the yearlings, okay, so what's important for them would be high quality forage. Okay, they need to be turned out. Okay, they need to go or have access to your pasture. Okay, so that they can graze forage. Okay, and also this allows them or provides them with the opportunity to exercise. And then for the gestation period, okay, so around 10% of the nutrients of your horse would be going to the fetal growth and development. Okay, so I'll just post later on yung mga requirements, okay, forage and concentrate percentage for the pregnant horses. Okay, Miss Requerion, kindly remind me na lang if ever. Audible
Okay,
pa ako, Ella?
Yes, Doc.
Ayun, okay. So next would be the breeding stallion. Okay, so an important thing to remember for the breeding stallion would be the body condition score. Okay, they must not be too obese or too thin. Okay, otherwise they would have a very low sex drive. Okay, so maintaining the proper body condition score, okay, or appropriate body condition score would be essential. Okay, now let's go to forages. Okay, so we have two major types of forages. Okay, we have the grasses. I believe sabi ng isang section na-discuss na daw yung forages, okay, in one of your subjects. So the forages would be either grasses, okay, yung mga brachiaria, timothy grass, okay, while the other type of forage would be the legumes, okay. So the legumes, for example, alfalfa is a legume, okay, and for the legumes, okay, so they would contain a higher percentage of protein, okay, as well as calcium compared to the grasses, okay. But again, okay, so most of the diet of horses would be forages. Okay, so we have here the two examples of hay. Okay, pag sinabi nating hay, yun yung forage na hinarvest, okay, and then dried and then baled, okay, for storage. Okay, so this would then be fed to your horses, okay, but you have these two key characteristics, okay, or two qualities of hay. So on the left side, you have the good quality hay, and then on the right side, you have the poor quality hay. Ano unang yung napapansin in terms of their difference? Sa unang tingin, it's about the
Color, Doc.
yun, the color. Okay, thank you, Shane. So the color of a good quality hay would be green. Okay, so this indicates that the hay was harvested at an appropriate stage of maturity. Ibig sabihin, okay, the grasses are not yet too mature. Okay, when you say too mature, the grasses are already stemmy. Okay, mas mataas yung portion na stem kaysa sa leaves ng grasses. And this would contain higher fiber that is low in nutrients. Okay, so a good quality hay should also have a low moisture content, around 12 to 18%, because too much moisture can lead to the growth of your molds. So I hope that you also know or you are familiar with the smell of newly cut grass. Okay, mga pag may mga nadaanan kayo nag-grass cutter. Okay, so a good quality hay should be sweet smelling. Okay, it does not smell or it does not have a fermented odor. Okay, because in that case, it's already of poor quality. Okay, and you need to check also, okay, if your hay is free of weeds, poisonous plants, trash, or for example, foreign objects. Okay, yes, J-Ben?
Excuse me, Doc. Ano po yung difference ng roughages at yung forages?
Roughages versus
Forages.
roughage versus forage. Sa tingin mo, ano kaya difference?
Hindi ko alam.
Try lang. Ano kaya?
Wala akong idea, Doc.
Ayun, actually, okay, or practically speaking, okay, these terms are used interchangeably. Okay? But when you say to forage, okay, this is usually or technically, okay, the term used to refer to grasses that are obtained by animals themselves. Sila yung nagfo-forage, sila yung nag-graze sa pasture. But when you say roughage, this is to differentiate roughage versus concentrates. Okay? But in this case, sinabi natin forages and concentrates, so we use it interchangeably with the roughage. Gets ba? Kaya siya roughage, rough, high in fiber, compared to the concentrates, lower in fiber and higher in digestible energy. And then forage, okay? So consumed by grazing animals from the pasture. But in this case, kahit yung hay na hinarvest ng tao and not necessarily by the animals, we also call it forage. Okay? So interchangeable siya, practically speaking. Okay ba, J-Ben? Satisfied?
Okay. Yes, Doc. Thank you.
Okay? So silage, yun yung, ano ibig sabihin ng silage? Silage kapag,
Fermented Doc.
yun, kapag stored, okay, and fermented yung forage. Okay? Ano naman yung soilage? Soilage. Di ba may ganun ding term?
Chop forage, Doc.
Soilage, chop, forage. Okay? Soilage, or tinatawag din siyang green chop, okay? Or ano pa, cut and carry, di ba? Yun yung kinat and then pinakain sa, tama ba, Angie? Angie, ikaw ba yung nagsalita?
Yes, Doc.
Tama yung definition? Okay?
Yes, Doc, cut and carry.
Ayun, cut and carry. Soilage, green chop, or cut and carry. Okay? So take note of those terms. Meron once, or during our time sa board exam, meron definition, okay? And then yung mga choices, soilage, silage, forage, and ano yung isa? I forgot the other one. Pero ganun. Panglito siya. So thank you for asking, Jben. Okay? Now we have the carrying capacity. Okay? So when we say carrying capacity, this refers to the capacity of the pasture to support, okay, the horses. Okay? Or the available forage in the pasture, okay, can support the number of horses. Okay? So generally speaking, okay, so the carrying capacity would be 0.8 to 1 hectare per horse. Okay? So that's the pasture requirement per year, okay, for 1 year. 0.8 to 1 hectare per horse. Paano kapag sinabi ko sa exam or sa oral revalida, how many horses can be supported annually by a pasture that is 8 hectares in size? Ilang horses yon? How many
8, Doc.
horses? Ayan.
8, Doc.
Ay, Francesca? 8? 8 to? Range na dapat, di ba? Kasi 0.8 to 1. So ano pa yung isa? Sika, 8 to? 8 to?
8 to 10, Doc.
8 to 10. Okay? Because 0.8 to 1 hectare per horse. Okay? Or kapag pwede kong tanungin, what is the maximum number of horses? Dapat yung sagot, 10. Okay? If minimum, then 8, okay, horses. Okay? So now let's go to the grains. Okay? So grains, okay, are an example of your concentrates. Okay? So although these provide a concentrated source of your energy and they are highly digestible, okay, they may lead to colic, okay, or abdominal pain for your animals. Okay? So we have several types: grains, protein supplements, and fat supplements. All of these are under concentrates. Okay. So this one, the first one is your oats. Okay. So this is the most popular grain for horses. It's very palatable and digestible for horses compared to other grains. Okay. That's why they are very popular. Okay. But what do you think is a disadvantage of using this type of grain? Anyone? Ano lang kaya ang catch? Although it's very palatable and digestible, ano kaya? Compared to corn, for example.
Is it expensive, Doc?
Okay, thank you, Shane. It's more expensive or very expensive. Okay, so the second most palatable grain would be your corn. Okay, it's also high in energy. Okay, and that may be a problem. Okay, because overfeeding corn, okay, can lead to health problems. Okay. So be careful, okay? So that's a concern, okay? It can lead to starch overload or even obesity. And then this one, okay? See, this is sorghum or Milo, okay? M-I-L-O. The problem with this is that it has a hard kernel or outer covering, so you may need to process this, okay? And that adds to the expenses, okay? And another one is that it's not palatable for horses on its own. You may need to mix this with other grains such as corn, okay, to make it more palatable. So for the other grains, you have barley, okay, and then wheat, itong nasa isang side, okay. So barley has low digestibility, okay, it also needs processing. However, it's highly palatable. And then for the wheat, okay, it's also very costly, okay, and that's why it's not used very commonly in horses. Another type of your concentrates would be protein supplements. Okay, so the most common protein supplement would be soybean meal. Okay, this would provide the essential amino acids. Another example would be brewer's grains. Okay, wala naman tayong pictures during the exam. Okay, unless sa Revalida ay may pictures ulit. Okay, but mahirap na siyang i-differentiate by just looking at the picture. Tama ba sa animal nutrition you have to taste the feed stuff? May nakapag-animal nutrition na ba dito? Wala?
Not taste, Doc, but sa oral
Then,
Valida, we have to be blindfolded to figure out what type of concentrate or for roughage it is.
you have to smell.
Yes, Doc, smell and touch, Doc.
And then ilang feeds, samples yung kailangan?
I forgot na po, Doc.
I mean,
Like
ilang,
7, was it?
ano yan? Ilan?
I think it was 7, Doc, or
7
or
feeds yung
more.
kailangan mong hulaan?
I mean, 5, Doc, each Reva.
5 feeds per valida. So, 15, ganun in total. Parang ganun.
I know, Doc. Five lang po sa isang Reva kasi sa isang Reva, iba na naman yung topic.
So once lang na nagpa-identify ng feedstuff.
Yes, Doc. Pero sa ruminant na subject po, meron din po kaming identification of feeds.
Okay. And then, hindi pa rin taste.
We've never tried tasting po.
Okay. But actually, no, so if it's being given to animals, then it should also be safe for humans. Kasi you don't want to feed those things that are toxic to humans to horses. Okay? So you should be able to one way, okay, because that's what we do here in UPLB. And actually, one lab exam, merong mga around 20 na Petri dishes, okay, and including the grasses, okay, and then we have to go all of these stations, 20 stations, okay, we have to smell, touch, feel, and also taste, okay, so that's paano ba? One way, okay, to examine, okay, this feed stuff, okay, and then ayun. Try nyo siguro, no, when you're going to practice. Hindi naman yung isang kutsara, grabe man yung ganun karaming feeds. Siguro yung mga isang pinch or something like that, yung sa taste test. And then lastly, we have the dietary fat sources or fat supplements. So in general, your fats contain 2.25 times more energy on a per weight basis compared to carbohydrates. Okay? So essential fatty acids, okay, omega-6, omega-3, okay, would be obtained from these fat sources. Okay? So the most popular and most commonly used fat source is vegetable oil. Okay, so it's also used as a top dressing. Okay, so top dressing. Okay, so it's added to make your feed more compact. Okay, reduce dustiness. And then another one is the rice bran. I forgot the other section mentioned the Bisaya term for the rice bran. Does anyone know? Familiar ba? Or rice bran talaga siya? And then this one is sunflower seeds. Okay, so the problem with this would be the cost, okay, of the feed material. Okay, so that's it for the feeding management. Okay, so at least for the basic concepts. So before we proceed with the breeding management, let's have a 2-minute break. Okay, so let's continue with the breeding management. So we have several terms, okay, that are related to breeding that were already mentioned, okay, like your dam, your sire, okay, your mare, and the stallion. Okay, but we have here another set of breeding terms. Okay, so last time we've mentioned the teasing, wherein a teaser male, okay, a horse that is castrated, okay, would be brought to a mare, okay, to elicit signs of heat. Okay, and then when we say live